Today on The Smoking Tire, we're testing the Ferrari 458, one of the fastest, newest, and most exotic cars available. And to commemorate that, we've chosen a very exotic location, somewhere celebrities like to hang out, like Bruce Springsteen, Bon Jovi, and Derek D. That's right, we're in New Jersey. And we've got the 458 Italia. It's faster, lighter, and probably the best Ferrari ever made. And despite the fact that it's smaller than the 430 it replaces, the trunk up front is big enough you could actually smuggle a Russian into the country.
America. New Jersey. Yeah, America, yeah. New Jersey. Yeah, pretty good.
Like I said, not a problem at all. Today on The Smoking Tire, we're taking this bad boy for a ride, and I got the keys. I'm Matt Farah, and let's go have some fun. I've wanted to drive this car for a really long time, so the first thing we're going to do, why waste any time? Traction control off, let's see how it launches. Woo! That's 85. That's 85 miles an hour right there at the top of third gear. Well, it's the newest Ferrari. So, as you can imagine, it's probably better than every Ferrari that came before it. And that's pretty much true. 4.5-liter V8, 560 horsepower, 400 pounds of torque. 80% of that torque is available way down low, so this thing is fast everywhere. The engine, of course, directly in the middle to optimize balance, and optimize balance it does. 458 replaces the 430, and of course the 430 Scuderia as well, and the jump in horsepower for each generation of Ferrari, it goes up every time they build a new one. Well, from 430 to 458, that is the biggest jump in horsepower in Ferrari's history in a continuous model, and it shows because this thing, 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds and a top speed of 200 miles an hour. Those are real numbers, and with the launch control, it's very easy to do just that. You just gotta be careful you don't get into trouble. We're not surprised that this car is good. It's the newest Ferrari. Of course it's good. Any idiot could tell you that. But what they couldn't tell you is if you put in automatic mode, which I am right now, the car's a total pussycat. Look, we're going 30 right now and it's in 6th, not even at 2,000 RPM. This is only the second Ferrari in history not to be offered with a manual transmission. The first was the Enzo. So it's in good company. And speaking of the Enzo, the 458 is only 1/10 of a second slower around Fiorano than the Enzo. Think about that for a second. 7 years later, and the entry-level Ferrari is essentially just as fast as a $1 million hyper exotic. That is a number to think about. The interior is improved as well. A lot of the controls are on the steering wheel now, including the blinkers, which is a little weird to get used to. I actually accidentally downshifted once while I was trying to make a left turn. Whoa, that's a squirrel. Oops. I'm on an animal killing spree, but I did miss that one. In the gauge cluster, you've got a 10,000 RPM tach, and I was shifting at about 9,000 right there. On the left side, you've got a whole lot of different information. You can toggle through different modes, car status, set up your trip computer. This car has been 142 miles an hour. I wonder who did that. And your speedometer on the right is a fully digital speedometer as well. It's kind of a neat little thing. It moves, it looks like an analog gauge, but totally digital. There might be a radio in this car. There wasn't a 430 and it was terrible. If there is a radio in this car, I can't find it because there is not a control anywhere on the dash that indicates anything about a radio. At first I was annoyed, but the more I drove it, the less I cared. And I haven't even considered turning on the radio yet. Because I've got that. It's fast. I mean, it's really, really, really fast. Now, because we're driving in New Jersey, and New Jersey is known for, its crappy roads, There is another neat feature in this car. On the steering wheel, there is a button with a little shock absorber on it. And what that is bumpy road mode. So you press this, and the magnetically controlled suspension smooths out over bumpy roads. Press it again, and we're back to regular mode. It is absolutely brilliant because you can just toggle with your thumb. Oh, I see a bump, quick, bumpy road mode. And it's lightning fast. When it comes time to slow down, carbon ceramic brakes, which are nothing new. However, Ferrari has decided to invent a new technology just for this car, which preloads the brake pads. So when you lift off the accelerator, it moves the brake pads right up against the discs, so when you get on the brakes, it stops faster. And it may only be a few milliseconds here and there, but when you're Ferrari, every millisecond counts. Speaking of brakes, this car doesn't have an actual parking brake. When you turn it off, it automatically has a parking brake that'll keep the car from moving. And if you want to leave it idling, there's a button to hold it here, but there's no parking brake cluttering up the cabin, which is really, really nice. It's designed like Michael Schumacher designed the interior, because he did. Ferrari maintenance is ludicrously expensive, and this car has a sticker price, the as-tested price of $246,000. Not exactly cheap, but the good news is the car we're driving is owned by Gotham Dream Cars, and in case you've never heard of them, that's a rental company. So if you've got $2,500 laying around, you can drive this exact car for one full day. 2,500 bucks a day, it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Well, that's 1% of the purchase price of the car. 1%. It's really not that bad when you consider it. It's actually a great value. I would recommend trying this car out all day, and maybe even a weekend. Maybe I might not bring this one back at all. I'm just gonna go drive for a little while. I'm Matt Farah. We're in the 458 Italia. We'd like to thank Gotham Dream Cars for lending us a car for a day. Go check out their site, gothamdreamcars.com. I'll see you guys next week, right here on the Smoking Tire.
Like Walmart had a sale on gears. It's a fobgina. I don't know what else to call it. The Evo bends the earth to its will. This car is impossible to drive slowly.